love of God. So that's a great segue now into a couple things I wanted to discuss before we start. Number one, we're short on time. Eloy
How
took
much time do we
wonderful
have?
notes. We've got about a little less than 90 minutes. Okay.
So normal. Yeah.
Normal. So Eloy took very excellent notes, from Carlos Bennett, which was dated February 25th, 2037. So I'm assuming we actually did play on February 25th.
That is correct.
So now I know what time of year it is because I wasn't quite sure. That's great. I would refer to those, and there's a couple of other things, but that really goes over everything you guys discovered and most of what you want to do next. I have a couple other things I was going to mention before we start that I don't think were on there. I know we discussed in between games that we wanted to not treat the KIAs as walkie-talkies so much, and that it's okay to call the other guys, but it would be for something like incredibly serious, and you can do a lot of your information sharing, in between shifts. I think that's probably a fair way to say this is when we kind of regroup. And we are starting second shift now. And our last thing is because there was a lot of questions, because there was a lot of stuff going on. I just want to be able to kind of do the description of an area or a place that you're looking at and finish it before you start firing questions. Because sometimes it wasn't evident that I wasn't done. So I'll try to be more evident, maybe I'll make a sign or something,
You can just mute us all till you're done. That's the nice thing about Zoom.
Yeah, well, Anthony often suggests the pause at the end, but a person of my age, I can't remember everything, so I pause frequently. All right,
you're just our Captain Kirk, man.
All right. The only things that I don't believe that Eloy actually, Detective Carlos Bennett. What are the things that you want? Oh yeah. So essentially, what you told me you wanted to do that you weren't doing was you were sending all the glasses, or you wanted all the glasses in the apartment fingerprinted.
Right.
You wanted the body sent to the coroner for a full exam, looking for hairs, fibers, determine murder weapon, anything else that's kind of runs out. And you wanted to have, I believe, a tech team come in and check out the raw feed from the private security recording, analyze it, all that kind of stuff. And maybe, if you still couldn't figure anything out, get some kind of warrant to summon Muniz. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Security systems.
That was
in
the
case
boyfriend? The father. We also
that's
need
the
to
father.
get the father and the boyfriend
father.
picked up.
Gotcha.
Right.
Or go get them ourselves.
Right. The boyfriend is actually, you guys actually called up dispatch and had a warrant put out for the boyfriend. So the boyfriend's being brought in for questioning. And I believe it as...
But the housekeeper's boyfriend.
Oh, yes, the housekeeper's boyfriend. Yeah, so I guess you're still kind of interested in... You didn't actually send out a warrant for anything for the fella, but for Jared.
Right.
I think Jared Peterson. Yeah, so you didn't send any kind of warrant out for him, but you were kind of interested in him.
I hear he really likes sandwiches.
What was that?
Jared's the guy who really likes sandwiches, right?
Yeah, he walks a lot. Let's see. And then I believe the Stockbridge wanted us to go to the rep detect unit. Now they've seen the crime scene, compare notes with Rusick.
Right.
Come up with a softer interrogation strategy. Rusick wants to talk to somebody, see if he can talk to somebody familiar with memory blockers on Nexus 9 replicants. Maybe check out the RDU, see what they have, and maybe hackers, before he goes into the Wallace Corporation, and alerts them to the fact that something might be wrong somewhere, because that's the last person you want to know right now, because of their propensity to cover things up. And let's see. Odin did send a message to Officer Blackman saying that you believe that Troy did a lot more than just murder Victoria. And let's see. Stockbridge was going to handle all the paperwork. And then Bennett wanted to visit the Early Q nightclub, which is where it seems that the Matchbox was from, someplace they might have gone relatively a couple days ago. And you were also thinking of eventually visiting Muniz Technologies. And that was the end of it.
Right.
So it's in your hands, gentlemen. It's the next shift. Who should we deal with first? Bennett and Quaid are going in one direction, and then
Well, if nobody's doing anything, we'll start.
Yep.
We get to the early queue at the nightclub row, I believe,
Yeah.
which is
it's the nightclub row.
close to my apartment.
Mm-hmm. How convenient. And just before we start with you guys, how do we want to handle this with Stockbridge and Rosick? Do we want them to meet up first before Rosick starts looking for avenues of who he's going to talk to?
Yeah, I'd like to hook up with.
Okay.
Yep.
Wait
Yeah,
for
I'm good
that.
with that.
Sounds good. That sounds good. All right, great. So, and Dutch, you end up at the early queue nightclub, which and it's still rather early in the day. I mean, you guys started first shifts at about 8 o'clock, so it's gosh, what time would it be? I guess like 4 o'clock, somewhere around there in that vicinity. It doesn't really matter what time it really is in LA because it's always dismal and rainy and everything else. And it's always hustling and bustling in some areas. So it's hustling and bustling there. Not the way it's going to be tonight, but it's out, it's definitely going. It's a very large bouncer at the door of some kind of Asian descent. Not preventing your entry, but he's kind of checking to see who goes in and goes out. You going in?
Yeah.
All right. So the nightclub there, you walk in, there's a couple of exotic dancers dancing on some poles in the not so far background. It's your typical large-ish and still somehow sleazy and fancy nightclub, all rolled into one with a variety of patrons, the kind of people. It seems like for the most part, they have a certain amount of money, but not everybody. Not everybody. There's actually a good cross-section of society in here. A bar area with a bunch of people, serving drinks and what have you. Waiters, mostly waitresses, not topless, but getting there, and a variety of items being smoked at the bar as well. It's a little dingy, little nasty, but somehow opulent, all rolled into one.
Like Beverly Hills. So good.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. There is a manager's office, kind of like on a second floor, that oversees the entire nightclub. But you can see, and you're familiar that with enough with it's not your first time here. That Early himself tends to be on the premises more often than not.
The owner here.
I don't really frequent this bar too much. You know what? I think we should start with the bouncer outside. He's bound to check people ID. He must have seen familiar faces. Have a look around. I think I'll go back and talk to him.
Right on. So Bennett, you're able to see, walk right up to the bouncer. I mean, he's inside the nightclub itself at this point.
Mhm.
Still at the door.
Hey,
Yeah.
buddy. This place doesn't get kicking till later, right? Listen, I need to ask you some questions here. I flash my Blade Runner badge. And draw up a picture of Muniz on my KIA and show it to him. This lady, she come here often?
A lot of people come here often.
Yeah,
We
we'll
ask.
see. Well, see, it's important. Do you remember her?
I don't know. I see a lot of people around here.
I'm sure you do. That's not what I asked. Do you remember her? And I show him KIA.
And they started to look. Let's see.
Well
We hadn't played
dressed.
this.
Well dressed. You know, she'd be wearing something pretty expensive. This is a nice bar, but I don't think you'd see this type of clientele that often. Sure, she doesn't ring a bell?
Hold on for 1 second. It's been a while. That's the other thing we haven't mentioned. It's been a long time since we played this game, so our rules knowledge is not phenomenal. And so once again, we are learning the game in front of you, kids.
So it'd
Just
be
want to make sure.
empathy and manipulation, maybe?
You know,
Or
I'm gonna
connections.
go. Are you trying to manipulate him, or are you trying to gain some kind of insight into what, you know?
I'm trying to, I guess, manipulate him. I want him to see what he knows.
Okay, go ahead,
and
man.
tell it to me. All right. So here we go. That's not good. And if I push this, I take damage automatically. So you know
Oh,
what?
is that a unicorn?
Yes, it is.
Oh, you gonna push it?
Mm,
A little stressed out. Big, huge guy doesn't look very happy with you. It sounds like a stressful situation, doesn't it?
yes, it does. I got bad chances. It's a D6 to reroll. So no, I
Really, it's
guess
an important case. It's an important case, man. Clock's ticking. Just saying. Not that I'm telling you what to do.
you know, it's okay.
Not that I'm telling you to engage the
okay,
system or anything,
okay.
but just to see what might happen. Oh,
Nothing.
man, it's stressful.
Yeah.
So, all right. Sorry, man. sorry to bring us out of character for a second, but I want to see how this works. All right. So look, man. A lot of people come here, and he presses a button on his watch. Boss, we got some guy here asking questions, man. And they hear this kind of like, I'm looking at his ear now. Yeah, you know what? Go up see the boss.
Well, you start thinking.
Office up there.
You start thinking real hard, because I want to need you to see that. And I did flash him the Blade Runner badge.
You start being careful real hard, cop.
Yeah. I'll go back in to find Quaid.
This guy is, you don't need an empathy roll to realize this guy is not happy with you at this moment.
Yeah.
And it's starting to look very, very antsy. All righty. Dutch. Looking around the place?
Yep. Looking around the place, and obviously what I'm looking at is, what other exits we can see from here, placement of cameras, if any, that kind of thing, the security layout.
Your practiced eye notices a bunch of cameras.
Okay.
What it looks like there's several doors. One's obviously to a kitchen, and it doesn't take an expert to figure out that there's at least another way out that way. Based on the layout of where the building is, how it connects to the adjoining alleys and stuff like that, there's a good chance that there's at least one means of egress, if not more, from the top floor.
Mm-hmm.
That seems fairly obvious. Not for sure, not positive without actually going down the alleyway, but it's a good chance. There's also, a couple other doors you're not sure exactly where they go. One thing that would occur to you, because you guys have definitely dealt with this place before, is there's supposed to be a VIP room, but they tend to deny it.
Mm-hmm. But we can't see an obvious champagne room from the main.
No, you definitely can't see an obvious champagne room from this particular area.
And are there other like thuggish looking bouncers hanging around inside?
There's a couple, not quite so imposing as a gentleman in the front, but you can start to look around, see some of these patrons. That's not a patron. That's a bouncer. That's security. Yeah, and you can see there's definitely at least 4 other security personnel there.
All right. Okay, and so security cameras. We can't see the champagne room. And okay, and there's not many patrons right now. You said
there's a good amount. It's not wall to wall people.
Okay.
But there's a decent amount of patrons. Probably too many for this time of day. The dancers are, one of the dancers is blonde and a little bit older, not terribly old, and she's a knockout and is not leaving very much to the imagination. The other one is a redhead and younger. Let's see. Let's take a look at Dutch's excellent character sheet. I love the differences in your character sheets.
Newly arrived.
No, Dutch's is handwritten with crossouts and all those kinds of things. Yeah. That's going to be
Dutch for Dutch is maybe 6'2", athletic looking, short blonde hair. That's why he's called Dutch, right?
Right.
To a certain character in the original, and he doesn't have the fancy black trench coat that Stockbridge has, the leather trench coat, but he has like a cheap synthetic black trench coat over what's basically kind of like military, t-shirt and cargo pants and combat boots. So he doesn't take much pain in hiding the fact that he's the tactical guy on the team, right? He's wearing a suit like Rose. So
all right.
People can tell that he's a thug himself, right?
Right. All right. I'm gonna say with an empathy and observation both of C. What you also can see is that the older dancer is kind of giving you the eye like a security person.
Okay.
Like she's not just kind of looking you at, she's clearly has noticed you looking at everything and is just occasionally giving you a sideways glance.
All right. Good to know.
It takes one to know one, but I see kind of like, she at least notices I'm checking the place out.
All right.
And let's go segue to Ozick and Stockbridge.
My files.
Yep, I understand.
All right. You had a rough time with Troy, right? And we haven't had much direct interaction with the maid about her boyfriend's movements at this time.
Correct.
So I would like to establish a timeline for what the boyfriend is normally doing at the time when she's not working. Because one of the easiest ways into that apartment would have just been to use her entry code. And if we're dealing with someone who's computer literate enough to be wiping out whole sections of time, they could certainly be fiddling with who entered and who exited, like the logs of entry and exit.
Stockbridge, are you trying to eliminate him, or do you have a sense of motive here? I'm trying to get a sense. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I'm fine chasing her back down again. I can check to see whether she's left. I'm trying to get a sense of what this trail is.
On the way back here, I was just thinking, things tend to be simpler than at first blush. And I could think of some grand conspiracies about why this woman is dead. But the simplest one is that there's a huge disparity in wealth between her maid and her. There's a boyfriend. Maybe they work different shifts. She goes to sleep. He takes her card. He comes over here and tries to steal something. But instead of being drunk and asleep or out clubbing, she's home. Just speculating. So if we can eliminate him from the list, then that's great. And if he's guilty, well, then that's great too.
That's fair. That's fair. Let me check to see whether they've sent her home yet or not.
That's pretty easy to do. And you can tell they're just getting ready to release her, although you can tell like they're trying to drag their feet as long as possible, simply because, like, it's already, Deputy Chief Holden is concerned that she's going to leak something. She starts blabbing something, and it gets to the media and then gets to Wallace Corporation.
Can we jump to where she is now with them being processed?
Sure.
I'm going to come up and go, they haven't let you out yet?
No, they haven't. You can see that she's 3/4 of the way through the pack of cigarettes you gave her not so long ago.
Ma'am, I am so sorry. I've told them to expedite this. Obviously they haven't. Do me a favor. This is my associate, Stockbridge. Stockbridge, maybe if we can take her to the other room, I'm going to get all of this paperwork straightened out so that we can get her straight out of here. Will you take care of that? And then I'll meet you in there and let you know.
I'll just take her to the next questioning area next door.
As they go, I'd like to be making a scene, winking at everybody, going, "What's going on here?"
Gotcha. Yeah.
Miss, I'll just make a show of checking my notes. Miss Mancini, is someone waiting for you? Do you need anybody to be picked up or notified? Because you're obviously here longer than you expected.
No, the other day they really said I couldn't, make any calls right now because I don't know what it was. I didn't even think about it.
You can't. But one of our operators could I don't know if you have children or if you have dependents that need care, or if someone would be at home waiting for you now.
Oh yeah, and my boyfriend Jared would. He might be home right now. I can give you his number either. Oh, he's a delivery guy.
Delivery, right? So he works odd hours, or do you have?
All different shifts really. Yeah, it depends on where the work is. Sometimes he gets something for a little while, but all over the place.
It's hard to maintain a relationship like that.
Oh yeah, it can be. But he's a good man.
Oh yeah.
He's a decent guy. Jeez, I met him maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. I mean, he had a rough past, bad upbringing and whatnot. And I guess he, done a few different kinds of work, but he really found the delivery job was pretty steady for him. And, it's hard to find work sometimes. So many people going off world, so many companies going off world, things getting shut down. But he was able to do that. So, he's got a past and everything like that, but it's his past. And, we all got pasts.
We all have pasts. How about you? How did you get this job?
Oh, the clean job? Well, I got through the agency. I've been doing this for a while. I was secretary before that and all that. But man, I just one of my girlfriends heard about it, and it wasn't. I didn't want to be a cleaning lady at first, but it seemed like the pay was a lot better than what I was doing. It was surprising, but work for some of these rich folks, so you could make a lot, and if they get tips or something, that's pretty good.
Do you have any other duties?
Oh, God, every once in a while, somebody want me to walk their dog or something crazy like that. Can't believe walking dogs, but they're not real dogs, of course. But some of the rich people have those artificial ones, and there's something else cleaning up after an artificial dog. What do you feed it? Artificial food? No, they eat real food. Artificial dogs. Artificial dogs, artificial boyfriends. Everything's artificial now.
Is Troy her boyfriend? I was under
no.
under the impression that there was a human boyfriend.
Oh yeah, that loser, and Troy's a, I guess, artificial boyfriend, but that guy, I guess that guy Melbourne was her boyfriend, if he wants to call it that. He was a real freaking piece of work, another rich boy, but
I mean, you don't
always in
like
trouble.
him?
Melbourne? No, he's a jerk. He's a jerk. He always treated her like crap, They'd argue half the time. He'd show up drunk or stoned or whatever the heck it is he's doing. Yeah, everybody's got a past. He's got a present.
Does he stay the night often?
Oh man, every once in a while he stays the night.
So he's
At
still
least
there when
I
you
come there.
arrive sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes he's still there. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Not. What do you mean? That stays over? Oh, she's had other people over. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Guys, girls, all that kind of stuff.
Just what you were saying, like if he's her steady boyfriend, but she also has this Troy. I wondered how serious that was and how big a list of people we might have to interview might be.
Oh God. It depends because so a lot of times she's off world, but when she's here, she's got a lot of people coming in and out, but not, every once in a while somebody random. Like, who the hell is that? Oh, that was, it was Freddie. Okay, Freddie. Melbourne was a lot more steady. I mean, she goes out a lot, but not too many people come home. Every once in a while there's the odd person. Like, well, okay, we got
Just like random,
what are these?
not repeat.
Yeah, not too much repeat. And Troy. Well, Troy, artificial person. How serious could that be? She seems to like him. He loves her. He just follows her around like a puppy dog, and his dog is following. Oh God, the dog. But follow him around. But
This seems to be taking my partner a really long time. He's really, just between you and me, he's really nice. Like you can just rely on him for anything. But when it comes to leaning on people and making them do stuff, I'm not sure that. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to start yelling. And if I see him, I'm going to send him in here, and maybe you could get some of those names for him.
Sure.
Thanks so much. I'm really sorry about this.
Okay.
Stockbridge, you find me leaning outside the door. Well,
I had hoped you were listening to my eloquent interactions with the witness, but she is making a list of other people who stayed the night. Melbourne, the regular boyfriend, often stays the night, but not so often that he's always there when she arrives. And the boyfriend is a delivery driver there on totally different shifts. So the window of opportunity for him to take her access card and at this or any of the other places where she works is now an open possibility. But that's what I've learned. So I'm going to go pretend to lean on our clerks, but Holden's not going to let her out of here. So
okay, perfect. How about this? Why don't I'll go in there and give her a story that we need to have him come up to sign her out to release her. Maybe you give him a call and let's have him come up and visit.
I love it. I'll put him in interrogation room 3.
Perfect. I'm going to come in and go, ma'am, I am so sorry about this. I think that we've got it all figured out, and I'm sliding a fresh pack of cigarettes towards her.
Thanks.
What we're going to do, Stockbridge had a great idea. I don't know if you've picked up on it. He's definitely one of the smarter people here in the building. He's going to go ahead and we're going to get your boyfriend to come up here and pick you up to release you. I didn't realize that we needed a special release in order to let you get out of here. That's what was holding things up. We found the straight line. We're going to get you taken care of. Do you need anything?
Usually you guys usually eat donuts, right? Can you give me some donuts?
Of course. Of course. Jelly glazed?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Oh, and some of those Bavarian creams too, if you got those.
Oh, that's so good.
And as I'm leaving, I'm going to go, you know what? One more. I almost forgot. your boyfriend, will he be agitated or aggravated if we talk about your job? Was he okay with you working there? I don't want to cause any unnecessary conflict.
No, I don't think he'd be upset at all. No.
Gotcha. Has he ever picked you up before at the building?
Yeah, no, he's been over there before.
He has he ever met your boss?
I think so. I mean, he's made deliveries in the building. You know, these people get stuff all the time.
Does he hate those hotties as much as we do? Like, did he ever talk bad about her? Honestly, I will all the time. I have to deal with them all the time. All these privileged money people. What did he ever say about her? Anything?
Oh, you know, well, he said, you know, she's kind of a bitch, just like I, you know, God rest her soul now. But you know, I mean, they all can be. They all can be. You know, I don't think he hated rich people any more than anybody else, any other working person. You know,
he and I have something in common then. All right, I'm going to go get your donuts. I'll be right back.
thanks. And as you go out, you can hear from down the hall the shouts of indignation of a man who may or may not be somewhat intoxicated being brought in. And what was this all about? And Mr. Melbourne, you just need to have a, you know, we're going to put you in this room over here and somebody's going to talk to you soon. So I won't talk to my freaking lawyer. You guys don't have freaking warrant. You don't have anything. Wait till my freaking father gets a hold of this. I'm getting out of here. Yeah. A few cops right there in your face, you know, and he's being really just nasty and obnoxious to the officers, which are, you know, putting this young man in one of your questioning rooms. It's possible this could be your boyfriend, or it's possible another person with his last name could have been brought in for some reason.
Okay.
So, Stockbridge, I'm going to connect with you. Any luck getting our delivery driver to
entertained by the arrival of the main boyfriend.
All right. Well, let's get dispatch to call the delivery guy to do a pickup of his better half. And do you want me to do the talking with Mr. Melbourne, or do you want to open things?
I think we'll go in together.
Perfect.
Somebody say my name, and dispatch is standing right behind you. Your dispatch.
And jot down on a sheet of paper who to get in touch with to get the maid's boyfriend over here.
Sure thing, honey. Kisses. And she vanishes. All right, well, it's a good time to go back to Detective Carlos Bennett.
I slide up to Quaid, lighting a cigarette. I say, didn't get much with that bouncer. I'm off today. I bungled it up. Anyway, he said we should go talk to the boss upstairs.
Just for your information, kind of whisper them. That blonde there, I think she's the bouncer spot. So keep an eye out.
Blonde is the head of security?
The dancer.
Oh, she's the boss.
Yeah, I think so. But let's go see about the. Yeah, I think the dancer is the head of security. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
All right. So let's go talk to this owner then.
All right. There is one guard standing outside the door at the office. He wasn't outside the door before. He's outside the door now. He's obviously is expecting you and lets you two gentlemen in. The office itself, there are a couple of women sitting down in some states of undress, not completely undressed. And there's a very opulent desk, very suave looking gentleman seated behind it with a smoking jacket on, of all things, and a suit underneath that. He's got a cigar lit. He's got a snifter of brandy next to him. And, you know, I mean, the walls are just like, I mean, it looks like the walls might be real wood. The chair might be made of real leather. That'd be a stretch. But things look really, really nice in here. And there are some very nice chairs in front of the desk. It's like, have a seat. enough of this. Want anything to drink? Anything at all?
No, thank
No,
you.
thanks.
Uh, good afternoon. I'm Detective Bennett. This is Detective Quaid. We understand you're the owner of this establishment.
That I am.
And what is your name, sir?
I'm Early. Who else would I be? Early Q's. Early himself. Lady, scram. And the two girls get up, very sultry and, give you guys both a wink. They both like press, go be, they touch you as they go by you. Gratuitous, unnecessary touching. And walk out other doors, not the main one that you walked in.
Right. So this is pretty nice place you got here. I'll confess, it's much fancier than I expected.
Fancy as they get.
So, listen, we're here looking for information on somebody, your clientele, as it were. I turn on the KIA and with the picture of Victoria Muniz, and I put it on the desk and sort of slide it towards him and say, this lady look familiar? Muniz.
Gentlemen, I'm in the entertainment business, not the information business.
I understand, but of course, this probably doesn't concern this establishment in the least. We're just trying to ascertain whether she's been here of late, what company is she keeping, stuff like that. I mean, you gotta admit, it's not every day women like this walk into this establishment, is it?
Well, we get quite a varied clientele here. Very often we do get some of the wealthier upper socialites, the off-worlders coming here to have a good time, slum it up with the locals, all that sort of thing. But you understand as well, my clientele, values privacy, especially people like this.
I understand.
What would happen to my business if I were to blab about everybody's comings and goings and whereabouts and all these sorts of things?
Well, of course, everyone values discretion, but see, the problem is Miss Mancini here, not Miss Mancini, Miss Muniz here, Miss Muniz here is dead. And
Dead?
yes, she is. And we're trying to just establish her whereabouts in the last few days. Are you sure you don't remember this person walking in here?
Well, if she's dead, then I guess she can't really be upset if I talk about her, can she?
Exactly.
For a moment
Plus,
there, I thought we were in a game of poker and I had this huge hand of cards and you were out there with a bowl looking for more. Ever seen that movie? I love old movies.
I can't quite recall, but see here, the issue is, as I said, you run a nice looking establishment here, everything on the up and up, you'd be cooperating with a standard police investigation. I don't see why you need to be involved.
Yeah, she comes here sometimes, or came here sometimes, I should say. And you want to know within the past couple days? Is that it?
Well, if you remember anything in particular, but I suppose any information would be useful. I notice you have a nice security setup here with cameras, as a proper establishment should. If you don't recall anything in specific, then Perhaps we could have a look at your archival footage for Miss Muniz. And
Yeah, you just notice a twitch for a moment, but you say, look at his archival footage. I say, well, that won't be necessary. Picks up some kind of device, puts it right over the front of your KIA. Looks like it almost might be a scanner or camera or something like that. You see in one of the screens near him pops up the picture. And he just says, speaks to it, locate. 72 hours. And next thing you know, like a bunch of different feeds from different cameras are just going by a blinding speed. And then they start to freeze and stop for a second. Yeah, she was here 2 days ago. Looks like she was came in with a couple people, a couple men, and one image flashes and looks like a very nice room, and he hits a button and that image disappears. Yeah, she was here.
What was this?
2
What was
days ago?
a couple days ago.
Who are those? We need pictures of those men she was with.
Enhance, and the thing gets bigger, and you clearly see that one of them is Troy, and that one of them is the boyfriend. I mean, you've seen pictures of him just from dispatch bringing it up. Looks like there's a few other people around them, but in more than one picture, they show up.
Looks like she's in a separate area of the bar, not in the main one. Was there anybody else in there with them? We need to question them all.
Separate area of the bar. It's a myth. There's no separate area of the bar.
Well, I don't see Jupiter or Proserpina in that picture, man. No myths here. That's a separate room. Stop bullshitting us.
Nice. Are we trying to intimidate him, manipulate him?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm intimidated.
Okay, let's see here. Going back to Menace Quaid, empathy, C. Manipulation, D. Well, this is going to be an interesting roll.
All right.
Unless there's anything else that you're trying to use to.
Well, I'm not. I didn't grab him or anything, so it's gonna have to be my charming, ice cold personality.
Yeah. All right.
But of course, replicants can push twice.
Yeah.
Hey, just a question. As I understand it, you get stressed not for pushing, but for rolling ones,
Yes,
right?
right.
So pushing itself does not.
Right. Although
Okay.
I believe the ones do not actually count until you push. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Right,
Yeah.
and you cannot re-roll.
You cannot
ones
re-roll the
anyway.
ones. Right.
All right, so I got a 4 and a 3, so I'll definitely push that. And this time around, I got a 7, a 4 and a 7. So I got 1 success.
Okay, so it takes a little bit of berating. You shout it. A
Yeah,
few more
slam
expletives.
on his desk. I said this is so. I'll tell him. I'm not bullshitting around here. This is a murder investigation, you son of a bitch.
And he jumps a little bit when you do that, just a tiny bit, and then regains his composure. So yeah, there is a VIP room. Don't ever repeat that. I'll make sure that Hanoi takes care of you. Still my turf. There's a VIP room, but it's a murder investigation. I'll give you that. Who was in there with him that night? Pulls up. Yes, 3 other people. I can get you their names. Not a big deal, but he's playing the feed now live, and you can hear the people actually talking. And you can hear at this point what turns out to be Blake Melbourne really like yelling. He's clearly at this point intoxicated. And you can hear Victoria herself, kind of yelling back at him. And they seem to be arguing over the fact that she likes sex with Troy better than him.
And she brought him along too. That's classic.
Yeah. And then, and including the the boyfriend, saying things like, "I can't believe you freaking brought him here. It's a damn skin job." And it's like, does he know he's only going to live for 4 years? Did you tell him that he's just going to be a pretty boy and then freaking die? And you can see Troy's face, the surprise in Troy's face at that moment. And even a person as empathetic as Dutch can see the look of hurt in this young man's eyes. And at least one of the other women in the room was like, "Would you two shut the hell up? You're a freaking downer." And she raises her head from snorting up lines of something. Yeah, typical night in the VIP room. Nothing but fun and games.
Do you know who that lady is?
He was going to give us the names of the three.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you for your cooperation, citizen.
We'll take a copy of that because that there is evidence. Establishes motive, possible motive.
You don't tell anybody where the speed came from.
All we need to do is have the evidence.
Right.
Maybe we impounded your data. Doesn't really matter where we got it. Nobody needs to know you gave it to us.
It's the sanctity of the VIP room that I worry about. That's a safe space. You know what a safe space is, don't you, officer?
I understand. But it's limited footage. And it just shows these people.
I'll grant you that.
It's not going to be in the news.
So it allows you to download that snippet to your KIA.
Thank you very much. Wow.
Pleasure. Take your time coming back, gentlemen.
So,
actually, the place is not bad. Say with a shrug.
You have a good evening, sir. Let's go, Quaid.
No.
And as we walk down the stairs, I'm feeling much better about that. Cigarette definitely helped.
As you exit the bar, if you are in fact exiting.
No.
You're not. You're not exiting?
No. I want to talk to the blonde dancer.
Okay, well, let's
wait
for a second and go back to Stockbridge and Rosick.
I will file a notice that Melbourne has been brought in. Flag it as important in case our partners care. And then while we're waiting for the maid's boyfriend to arrive, I'm hoping that Odin and I can have a conversation. I nominate you to be the good cop.
So we enter. I've got a cup of coffee, a little short cup of coffee that somehow is hotter on the outside than the inside. Slide it over to Melbourne and go, "Blake, I can smell your breath from here. Want to drink a little bit of this, and let's try to keep this short and sweet. Need to understand, when's the last time you saw Victoria?"
"Fuck you, cough," and he splashes the coffee at you.
Have you met my friend Stockbridge?
The coffee is a little hotter on the inside than you thought it was. You don't actually take any injury. However, you may need to change your shirt.
I don't intend to actually strike the person in custody. But in my haste to make sure he didn't burn himself, I may have accidentally swept the legs out from under his chair, spilling him
I
on
understand.
the floor with a certain amount of force. And then in my haste to pick him up again,
Right. So he definitely looks shaken and not able
Stirred.
to react as fast as you shaken and stirred, and not able to react as fast as he would like to for lack of training and lack of sobriety.
you really need to be careful, Mr. Melbourne, and just answer our questions. Right now, you are not under suspicion.
Suspicion for what?
When is the last time you saw Victoria?
Oh,
And to be
God.
clear, we already know the answer. So think about it.
Victoria, Jesus, I saw her last night sometime.
Keep going. Think real hard.
I forget, man. Son of a bitch. Have some coffee. Another cup. I can't even freaking think.
I don't even move.
I get really close to his ear. Let's put it in a little context. The last time you saw Victoria, was she still alive?
She dead? What are you guys talking about?
So tell us
I saw her.
everything.
Yeah, I saw her last night. I can't remember what time it was.
Why not?
You know, it's a little effed up, man. What do you think?
Are you
Uh,
stating now for the record that you have been impaired? Could you make a list for us of which chemical substances you are currently bamboozled by?
God, it's impaired. I don't know. I'm sure a talk screen is going to tell that. I mean, I can't remember everything. I've had a couple drinks and might have a pill or something.
I go to
listen.
the door. I go to the door while he's talking and ask the officer on duty outside the interrogation room to please go get a swab and talk screen kit, as the witness has just volunteered this.
And when you step away, I'm going to put my hands on the desk face to face with him and go, look, Stockbridge has got it. My partner's got it in his head that this is yours and that you did this. I understand accidents happen. So the best thing we can do right now is kind of explain how she fell, how she died, like walk me through what happened. Otherwise, my partner here, he's already decided what happened.
Jesus. Well, let's see. I was there last night. It had to be, I don't know, like 10, 11 o'clock, something like that, man. I left before midnight. I know I did that because I had to get down to the club. Jesus.
What club?
Which one did I go to last night? I don't know. I think I went to the Snake Pit finally.
Do you think I can call them and they'll confirm that? Or do you need to think more?
Yeah, I guess they can confirm it. If they, it's not like I identify myself at the door and I go in. I mean, watch a couple dancers and that's about it. But yeah, I suppose so. Maybe they got footage, something, right? I mean, they would know I was there.
Okay.
It's got to be a record of me being there. Isn't that going to
Slam my
stop it
hand
from?
down on the table. What about the argument, Melbourne?
Which one? I mean, we've had a couple. I mean, couples always have arguments. Well, you mean a couple nights ago? No. Well, no. I mean,
Aren't
yeah,
they?
no, I argued with her last night too. She's, what? I mean, what about the argument? I mean, bitch has that freaking blow up doll robot, but couples argue all the time. That doesn't mean I killed her.
Your impotence doesn't have to be a part of the official report, but I need to know when you argued, why you argued, and if she was alive the last time you saw her, and if that can be corroborated by any being whatsoever. Because if Troy is the last person who saw you with her, you're in some trouble.
So now he's like really, really upset, and he's oh god, okay, and he's fishing around his pockets. There's no cigarettes, there's nothing, and he's. So yeah, I was there last night. I left before midnight. Went to the snake pit. We argued about stupid freaking robot boyfriend, whatever the hell he is, sex toy.
More
And she was
human
alive,
than
and like,
that.
sounds familiar. Oh yeah, but wait, but I came back, but she didn't let me in. Nobody answered the door. There was, I don't know, 2, 3, whatever the hell it was.
You don't know the code?
No.
You're the boyfriend, aren't you? You don't know the code?
The other two knew the code.
Other 2 boyfriends? What? Who?
Sorry. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't think he knows about them.
Fuck. Jeez, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's like, no, I don't know a freaking code. She never gave me
Troy
a
knows.
damn code.
What did you want to talk to her about when you came knocking?
So, instead I was sorry. I didn't want her to be so goddamn upset. I said a couple mean things and stuff, and maybe said it was freaking over, and then, you know how you get when you're freaking drunk and you're like, Jesus, Dad. But no, I called her too. I called her, and she didn't answer then.
Did you call her after you killed her to kind of cover up the timeline?
What? Wait, that's a trick question. No. I mean, yeah, yes. I didn't kill her.
Really?
I didn't kill her. I saw
You're
her.
so convincing.
I saw her last time I saw her. God, Jesus. Last time I saw her, it was like 11:30 or something like that. I saw her, and she was mad, and we said a couple things, and then I left, and that was it. But she was alive then.
Did you go to the snake pit before you came back or after you came back to knock on the door?
Before.
So you went, argument. Last time you see her, she's alive. You go to the snake pit, have a couple, and then come back and she doesn't answer the door. Am I piecing that together right?
And let's see, I'm thinking a little slow. I was like, yeah.
Okay. My recommendation is you tell my partner everything you think matters and about 10 other things that you don't think matter. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee and I'm going to call the bar. And you'll tell by the look on my face whether everything matches up or not by the time I get back. I'm going to step out and do exactly
Take
that.
your time. I've really been looking forward to some alone time with Mr. Melbourne.
And as I'm opening the door within earshot, I'm talking to nobody and go, officer, are you sure we can't get these cameras fixed? I know they're not working. And I just walk out.
And anybody in the hallway would hear, I got rights. I got a lawyer. I mean, a kind of a high-pitched voice.
So I'm going to contact the snake pit while Stockbridge continues.
It is very easy to get somebody to the snake pit when you give his name. So you're kind of like, oh, that dirtbag. Yeah, he was here last night. And, it's able to corroborate the fact that he was there. He was an unruly patron. He got kicked out at about 1:15.
So things are lining up then
Yeah.
from a timeline. Okay.
Hang on, say again. He was at the snake pit and got kicked out at 1 a.m.
About
1:15?
1:15. Yeah. About 1:15. 1 a.m. Yeah. So, yeah, 1:15, 1:30, they kicked him out. He got there about midnight, but was pretty unruly. Lap dance gone wrong.
So, Melbourne, you left Victoria's apartment to go to the snake pit. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
How did you get there?
I took a cab.
Uh-huh. Do you remember anything about the cab?
It's yellow.
So you don't want us to be able to find the cab driver, to be able to identify where you were. You'd prefer to have that be ambiguous about when you really left and where you really went.
Oh God, it's Empire Cab. Empire Cab. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that's what I called. That's what I usually call.
Then you arrive.
Sure,
you arrive at the bar. What was the name of the bar again?
Snake Pit.
Snake Pit. Are you a regular?
Yeah, I'm regular at most of the bars.
There are a lot of bars, Melbourne.
Yeah, but the Snake Pit's a good one.
Okay, so you're a regular. Why do you go there?
Booze and girls. Why does anybody else go there?
So you're a committed and loving boyfriend then?
Never said that. So yeah.
Forgive me, my mistake. And then you left. Do you remember the time?
God, I don't know. No, 2:00 maybe.
Did you contact anyone about where you were going? Were you with anyone?
No, I went there by myself. Oh, yeah, no, I went there by myself. Jesus, who saw me? Charlie.
Charlie.
Dealer.
The
I
suspect
don't know his last name.
stated his communications with a dealer named Charlie at the snake pit. That's excellent.
Jesus Christ, don't let it get back to Charlie. You're going to freaking kill me. Whoa,
I'm sure there's a long line, Melbourne, forming up behind me. Now, how did you get from the snake pit to Victoria's again to kill her?
Took a cat. I didn't kill her.
So you say now. Same cab, Empire cabs.
Yeah, it should have been Empire. That's what I usually call.
Should have been. May not have been. May not have actually left Victoria's at all. May have just pretended to leave.
No. No. I went to the bar. I didn't kill her. What the hell happened to her? She fell? Would she get pushed out of her window or something?
I'm not here to answer your questions. You're here to answer mine. Right now, I don't think you left the snake pit at 2. In fact, I don't think you went there at all.
If I can come in right about that time and go, he's lying.
He's lying. How about that?
You did not. You didn't leave there at 2.
What do you?
Let me just
When
spit
really?
for a minute. I think she threw you out of the apartment and you walked up and down like some angry, impotent little nothing for a little while, worked yourself into a hissy fit, and then went back into the apartment and killed her.
I didn't kill her. I left. What the hell? And he's like, at this point, breaking down and starting to like cry. It's hands. I didn't do it. Oh my God, I'm gonna call my father. I'm gonna call my lawyer. Jesus. Oh God, what the hell? He's like, but at this point, he's like rocking back and forth a little bit. A broken shell of a human being.
And I'll pull Stockbridge aside and let you know what I found, and that things are lining up here, as far as what he's telling us. And
He was seen and probably left sometime around 1 or later. Yes.
yeah, no, it's lining up. He's not going to win boyfriend of the year, but I think so far he's telling us the truth.
I'm sick of looking at this puke. I just walk out.
All right, so listen, Blake, we're going to give you a little bit of time.
How much
So
time?
far, so far you've lied to us. We need a lot more truth. And you either lied to us because you killed her, or you lied to us because you're an idiot. So you need to sit down, and I'm going to pull out a sheet of paper and a pen. You need to write down your entire timeline. I need to know everything for the last 24 hours, times and everything. Do not write it down until you're sure.
All right. Fine. Can I have a visitor?
Who?
Guy named Charlie.
Who's Charlie?
That's a friend of mine. Confidant, you know?
Okay, give me his contact information.
He's looking, and you see he's looking at his hands, which are shaking a little bit. He's looking, and he finally like, scribbles down the name. Just don't, just tell him you're a friend of mine. Ask you to come down here to help me out.
A tap on the paper and then walk out. And I show Charlie.
His dealer, regular at the snake pit.
Perfect.
I want Charlie to know the situation that he is in, or that he is using Charlie's name. The officers of the law.
So do you think we call Charlie, or should we just give Charlie a free round trip?
As much as I would like to see the two of them locked up together in a holding cell, waiting for interrogation, I'm not convinced we're going to learn anything that helps us find the actual killer. Just not to say that Melbourne could not have bankrolled this whole escapade. I mean, that's still open, but I still want to talk to the maid's boyfriend.
Yeah, we still need to talk to Peterson, right? Delivery boy.
Alrighty. Wonderful. Bennett and Quaid, do you have any plans now?
Yeah, I wanted to, as we're walking out, I want to stop and talk to the blonde dancer. Is she like dancing on the stage right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I tell Bennett I think she might be worth asking something. So I take out a whatever bill we use. Is it Chilean?
Chinian? Yeah.
Chilean?
Chinian.
I fold it, right, and I beckon her over as I fold the bill.
What's on your mind, big boy?
As I place the bill in her clothing, I say, LAPD, listen, and I show her a picture of Victoria. This woman was here a couple of days ago in a private party. Your boss told us. What I want to know is, do you notice anybody who was not in that party of hers, looking at her, following her? Was there anybody that wasn't in her party that was paying special attention to her?
She's looking at this bill you give her. She's looking back at you. She's looking back at the bill.
All right.
And
So
it's not enough.
all right. So let's do we use the I want to give her more if I have it, right? I don't know how we use
Well,
it.
Give her a Chinian point.
Yeah.
We got a
Chinian
few.
point. Do you have a Chinian point?
Yeah, I have 3.
Oh, you do. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There you go. A Chinian
All
point
right.
will do it.
All right,
You
let's
know,
do it.
however much money that is, but
Yeah. It's not too much for me.
200. It's $100 Chinian. 100 Chinian bill.
yeah.
And the demeanor I'm trying to transmit as I ask is one professional to another, right?
Right. No, I got you. I got you. And she kind of looks at you, kind of like has that understanding. So, yeah, nothing gets by you, does it, big boy? Yeah, weren't with her, but there was a couple guys outside, kind of came in for a while. They were watching her. Suits, looked looked like they looked like pros.
And they do not work here, I presume.
No, I know who works there and who doesn't work here. I keep my eyes open. I've been working for early for a long time.
You think you could sweet talk your boss into sending us pictures of those guys if you have them on any of your feeds?
Let's see. And she says, "Hold on for 1 second." And she walks over, and by putting her clothes, there's not very many clothes to put this money in.
Yeah, I imagine.
But goes over to her terminal. It's clear that she's talking to somebody for a second, and hits another screen on the terminal, or another point in the terminal. A feed comes up, pop. She's able to get a physical picture to come back out. Because early said it was okay. Something about you guys shouldn't come back here for a long time, and this better be the last request. But and she tells you a picture with a couple guys, and it's very clear that these guys are not there to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're here on business of some kind, whether they're mobsters, cops, private security, whatever is undetermined, but they're definitely pros, and they're definitely on the job.
Excellent.
They just kind of have that demeanor. Then the picture moves a little bit, you can get it to like somewhat interactive. But she's like, they were definitely working. They never did anything. They kind of arrived right after she did. She went to the other room. They stayed out here.
Left after they did, after she did?
Yeah, one out after she went to the other room, came back in after 10 minutes. Maybe looking to see if there was an exit. Who knows? But case in a joint, just like you.
Excellent. Thank you for your cooperation, citizen. And I slipped her my car and I said, if you think of anything else about this victim, let me know, and maybe sometime we can have a drink and talk trade.
And she picks up looks at your car. She goes, "Where the hell am I going to put this?" It gives you a wink.
Same place I put the bills.
Tell you what. And she hands you she goes over to this little area, pulls out her own card. And said, "Here's my card." And it says, all it says is Hecuba and a number.
All right.
If you ever want to have a good time after hours, you let me know. The girls got to eat.
Sounds good.
Men have needs too.
No kidding.
See you later, Tits.
Thank you very much, ma'am. All right.
And I think, based on concerns of time, we should probably wrap up. If somebody mentioned if we want to have an after game discussion, now's the time to do it.
And
Or what we're going to be doing.
discuss.
Well,
And discuss.
First thing I'm going to say is I'm really mad because the stupid character sheet has the driving skill on top of the empathy skill, and I misread it. So it should have been a D8 and a D10. So I screwed myself massively. Fortunately, the cigarette brings both the characters and the players' stress down. So
Nice.
I
You smoked a butt and you're back to normal. You know, that's a
right.
sweet.
You
These
smoke one and
self-destructive tendencies. I don't know, man.
yeah.
Aloy, so what is driving tied to then? Because that's a good point.
I don't remember what it
Tied
is.
to the
I have to
vehicle's
read up on it.
maneuverability,
Oh,
not
that's
you.
right. It's the
Yes.
vehicle.
Yes,
Skill
yes,
plus the
yes.
vehicle.
Luckily, there's only 4 stats.
Okay,
So-
gotcha. You rolled the
Right.
other dice for the vehicle. Got it.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right.
Haven't had the chance to have a vehicle chase yet.
Right.
Yet.
Yeah.
That's my next
So I know-
plan for Melbourne.
Yeah. There you go. So I know my God, that poor bastard. Yeah. I should have rolled some dice from him at one point, but man, he just caved. He was under a little bit of stress anyway.
Yeah, so
It was not a good day for furniture, is all I'm gonna say.
I got a little turnaround on Melbourne's timeline, but if we can leave that for later if you guys want to discuss something else.
Okay. What?
Greg, do you have any?
No, I liked playing in character a lot more. I think everybody did a much better job of that.
Yeah.
So the thing that comes up whenever there's role play without roles, or roles without role play, is about the balance. Was the group happy with the balance? Like, should Stockbridge and Odin have been required to make a roll at some point to obtain the information that they got, or was the information that they got well within their ability to get without a roll in this system? And that falls on the shoulders of the game master.
Right.
So-
Exactly.
So yeah, I'd love to hear the decision process on that because I was fine with it. To be clear, I was fine not rolling. But I'd be curious why we didn't.
Let's see. First of all, let me see if I can find your character sheet, because your character sheet is great.
Yeah, I'm really good at it, right? So I have a D12 in
Yeah.
empathy, and then my insight is a D. Everything, my connections is a D12, my insight's a D10, my manipulation is a D10. So I'm really good at this, right?
Yeah, that was the thing. Is Rozek is just really good at that, and I didn't see the need to roll in that situation because the witnesses themselves were so either intoxicated or dull normal that I
Right.
didn't see the need to do that. I mean, I could have had you roll and have this incredible blow a success, and maybe in that case, I didn't think of the fact that you could have rolled multiple successes and gained more information. So perhaps I should have done that, just to see if you could have generated those. I forget off the top of my head, Stockbridge's. Here we go.
He sees.
Yeah,
So he's trained, right?
right. He's trained. Yep.
So did I
Should be.
play Stockbridge too suavely or too intelligently or too forcefully?
It was hilarious. I love it.
Not necessarily. I mean, I think perhaps if he was there by himself, I would have had him roll more.
In
Yeah.
my head, I saw him as the modifiers to Odin.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You're already dealing with a pretty heavy pool, and so, but you guys double teaming him, I didn't really see the need to roll. I kind of knew what he was going to say or what his possible answers were. And I was hastily checking my notes to make sure I had his timeline right. I'm trying to find out what time was he there.
Where was I?
As you guys are like, where was he? I'm like, where was he? Where was he? I knew it was right around then. I'm like, oh crap! Let me just make sure I'm consistent. Let me get my story straight.
Yeah.
So that was a moment of confusion, which I guess is one of those things. If you're running this game, you better have those. I mean, thankfully I had them written down. I knew, but you better have those at your fingertips. Especially you had written down where you guys are planning, what you're planning to do next, making sure that enough NPCs were there, that I knew what they were about and their motivations, and then if there was a story, what was the truth, how they got, if you got to that truth or not,
Unless you're running it as a story where
right,
by feeling like, well, the next beat should fall here, so he's going to crack on this point and spill his.
yeah, and there wasn't like that. It was more, here it was more like I don't really care about the beats. It's like this is what these people want, It's funny because the information you get on Early and his bouncer and a couple other people is from a video game. Like that's where those people are from. I'm looking around. There's nothing. Early Q's nightclub is in the game as an homage, I think, to this video game. So it gives you these characters, which then you can do whatever you want with. It's a name. The bouncer was a character, from the video game. So was the dancer, the blonde dancer. I may have taken liberties with them, but whatever.
We should search for all of our perps there.
Hey, listen, you're free to go back. I mean, it's just because they don't want you there doesn't mean anything. You've established a relationship,
and it makes it actually interesting to go back because they don't want us there, right?
Mm. Do we want to pencil in the next game so we don't wait 7 more months?
We should try. Let's do the 25th, and if I have to move some things around, I'll do that.
I won't be
Perfect.
able to do any Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
let's
let's
pencil in an hour later. So 7 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. my time.
All right, let's do
We're
that.
gonna play for an hour, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, or we can be. I might even be able to play longer.
All right.
We'll talk about that.
Just don't,
I miss
don't-
playing
don't
with you
crash-
guys.
Don't crash over Blade Runner, man. Please.
Well, don't crash without telling us who did the killing first. If we know who the murderer is, then we don't give a shit what you do.
Besides the incredible tragedy, can you imagine, for the rest of your lives, we were so close,
We
and
almost
we
had it.
don't know.
That
like-
bastard.
We're like, did he leave a notebook at the house, near the computer?
It's like we'll be messaging all the friends in
Yeah.
your Facebook
Yeah, you'll
page.
be calling
Your
my girlfriend.
daughter.
Hey, listen, I know this is really a bad time, but is there a notebook that says Blade Runner anywhere?
Sorry
around
for
the
your
house?
loss, but
Could you do that?
That's a
I'll
good
give you
idea. Where
$1,000 for his
did you
iPad.
write it down?
I'm not telling you.
Like,
good
I'll
seeing
give you-
everybody. I
But there
missed
is
you.
actual-
Happy Father's Day, Craig.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Back to you.
Happy Dog Father's Day.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
gonna-
so I'd probably email Ivan. So I'll give you $1,000 for his iPad. Just ship it over. I'll take care of bringing it to it.
What we need is to buy Ivan one of those big cork boards with strings and,
Murder board.
and stuff. Yeah, so he can leave it all.
Oh yeah, no, I've got stuff written down in a few places, but yeah, you have to find that.
And
That reminds me. Go ahead.
No, that if anybody's gonna bring it to your iPad, it's probably better that it's us than your family. So
That's true.
Exactly.
Friends,
get
Dog.
Friends erase friends browsing history. That's the
exactly. It depends. Yeah, it depends on what you're.
you got rescue, sissy.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
So
I'm
listen-
surprised the dogs didn't interrupt over here. They're usually run around like idiots by now. Sue's dogs, Piper and Charlie.
Jose has a lap dog too, as you can tell.
Oh yeah, nice. We got some lap dogs. Here. Piper thinks she's a lap dog.
It's 60 pounds.
It was but it was funny. We're playing another game, and the game kind of got, we were playing play by post. The game got to the point where Jim decides, okay, we're not going to do this anymore because it's getting slowed. One of the players, this, well, hey, seeing as we're not playing this, could you tell us the blah blah blah? And I'm like, no, I don't know if the game master answered or not. I think they did. And I didn't want to read it because I don't want to know. What if we play the game again? I don't know. I don't know if this is really the Queen of England or whatever. Well, could you tell? I'm like, oh, you can't ask like that. Any other feedback on the from the player side?
Quick rechecking of the timeline just to make
Oh,
sure I
yeah.
have everything cool. The owner of the early queue is named Early, right?
Early, sure is.
Okay.
Yep.
all right. So yeah. So Melbourne.
Doesn't say what the hell Q means stands for in the video in the little wiki. So I'm like, oh, whatever.
That's fine.
Stands for
So-
club. Club.
Yes. Club.
Maybe we should have talked like Elmer Fudd. Welcome to my club.
Welcome to my club.
Can I get you a
Wayne
drink?
Borders.
Can I get you would you like a drink? God.
You got no VIP room.
Also, just to save time in the next session, we'd send the pictures of the suited guys for facial identification and so on.
Yeah,
So
I figured.
yeah, that way we can.
Yeah. So Melbourne was at the snake pit first. He leaves and goes back to her apartment around 12:30. Is that what he said?
He
Because
Yeah, he
then
wasn't
I got
sure.
turned around. Yeah, he wasn't sure, but then they called the snake pit, and he was at the snake pit until 1:15.
until 1:15.
Yeah, about 1:15,
They
yeah.
said.
All right, so that exonerates him.
Everything seems
Yeah.
to check out. Like, I mean, seems to check out. Like, he's too drunk to give you exact times,
Right,
but
right.
he's giving you times that he would have been there that match up with the videotape of him being there arguing with Victoria. He leaves, he leaves around the time he says, he said he left.
Right.
They're corroborating that he was at the snake pit during the time of the probable time of the murder. And
Right.
he's saying he came back at some point and she wouldn't let him in. He makes a call,
Right.
both of which match up the evidence. So, I mean,
Right.
it's pretty clear that he didn't
yeah.
actually kill her.
So
it's
he's
not-
exonerated. The snake pit, if they have footage of him, that's exculpatory evidence. Okay, that's cool.
Right. I mean, well, that's the only thing is like, did snake pit lie?
Right, we got to check. But at least if they have the footage of him leaving at 1:15, that exonerates him. So we got to chase that down.
Right.
And we tend to believe that he was surprised.
Yeah.
When he heard that she was dead.
Right.
Yeah,
But we need evidence. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean the empathy score and what's the other thing? Empathy and Jesus.
Insight.
Insight. Yeah, I mean, Roslick is so high in those. He's like, oh yeah, this guy believes everything he's saying.
Right. So, and it's unlikely that he would make himself an alibi if he doesn't realize that he needs one, and he doesn't find out until we've got him in custody. So, I'm willing to relax about him as a suspect so far. But,
right, but it's definitely entertaining to see you like beat him up somewhere. So. Yeah, I really enjoyed the moment where like you knocked his chair over and picked him back up roughly after. Yeah.
There's no police brutality here. It's just courtesy.
I'm kind of curious to watch a live play of this because I think we're doing fine, but we've been playing for about 3 hours total. And we have a good layout of what's going on, but we're running out of suspects quick. So I just wonder what a regular game of it looks like. Is it expected to be solved in like a 4-hour session, or are they talking 12 hours? Who knows?
It's a good question.
Interesting. It's interesting. Yeah. No, I think we're fine, right? But we're running out of suspects because if Melbourne is exonerated, we're back to square one with the replicant. Which,
no, we've got the boyfriend. We've got Mancini's boyfriend.
Right. We got Mancini's boyfriend, which is a very good intuitive leap because I missed it. But Mancini has the codes, right? So she could open the door, right? Or she could maybe Victoria liked him, right? And so she opened the door for him when he showed up, right? So Mancini,
that she's quite loose.
Right. So Mancini doesn't even have to be involved in the whole deal. Herself. So that's a good suspect. And the other is Troy, right? You got to figure out you were going to Wallace at some point to try to get some info on the replicant, right? These security engrams that he has. Maybe we can bypass that because he says, we can't talk about them.
Right.
And we don't know who they is. It's presumably the Muniz family, right? Or their issues.
Right. And this is the thing that's really worrying me in the back of my mind.
Right.
Is they own the security system.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I wouldn't have cameras on the inside of my apartment, especially if I live that kind of lifestyle.
Right. Right.
So if Dad's tired of the lifestyle and comes over and things go awry, and then Dad says, well, erase this, and then leaves.
They can make it go away.
And he can certainly bribe some dirty cops to come over and beat the crap out of the evidence.
Right. And he could also pay for the 2 bodyguards looking for the 2 goons at the bar. Right. So there's that running in the background.
So I'm
It's
assuming,
possible.
you know, if that's happening, then I'm thinking we've got, um, I lost the word that I want, but anyway, a story, a plausible story, and then we, the cops, will follow the breadcrumbs and arrest the wrong guy.
Right.
So I'm trying to
So-
get ahead of that and find out the wrong guy first. before they pin the finger on him.
Right. So loose plans for next week so that we get the jump start, like Jose said, is what? Jose and I checking out the snake pit? Because we're there.
Yeah,
We're at the sector, right?
You
We're
guys
a
are good
couple of
water
streets.
folk. And then Odin and I can go to Wallace.
All right. So
Are you going
snake pit,
to talk to
Jose and I to try to go get the exculpatory evidence, and then Odin and Stockbridge to Wallace.
Or should we go directly to her father and, you know, do the notification?
That's right.
Or I'm assuming they've already been notified, but we can, you know, as the actual detectives, we can do the notification and the
And
update.
questioning, yeah. And you got to do some basic questions, right? So, well,
All right. Yeah,
Something like that.
so Jared Peterson's supposed to come in.
oh, that's right. Peterson's coming as well.
Jared Peterson's supposed to be brought in. Analysis of the photos of the goons. Remember the goons are.
The goon analysis.
And then you still have all the other analyses you wanted done, which you have not checked on.
Right.
That we will start third shift. I keep on hearing the 24 like thing.
Yeah.
Going through it because that's the one thing with this game is you have to remember that because I mean like I've set up a timeline. Like there are certain things that will happen unless you
Yeah. Right.
divert them from their courses. So that's one of the neat things is without pre-planning a story, it gives you a really good framework in terms of because oftentimes I'll think of like what's going to happen in a day or a week or whatever. If I've got running another RPG here, it's time. It's an investigation, so the clock is kind of ticking usually, and you want to keep it within an investigation amount of time.
It moves in shifts
for genre's sake. So that it's in shifts. That gives you this really helpful way to say, okay, what would happen next based on the motivations of all these NPCs or the things that would normally happen, unless you guys divert them from their course or
right.
do something. And that's kind of neat. So I kind of know what's going to happen every shift, whether you've discovered it or not, which is kind of
right.
cool.
Right. Well,
so far it's not a hard game to run as long as you do your prep ahead of time. And remember where your notes are when this guy's story is. I was like, I took so many notes. I'm looking around.
Yeah. What sounds daunting to me, thinking about mastering this is not so much the game, but the fact that it's a mystery and you have all these characters and all this information. So kudos, man. It's feeling real.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed playing early. He was a fun guy to play. I mean Melbourne was fun too. Just
a conversation between Rosek and Early would have been so fantastic, but unfortunately he got the low empathy guy. So.
Yeah. The slam on the table. Listen. And he managed to push it. Listen,
answer me. I'm a gangster. No.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That you basically get free re-rolls limited only by your fear of a unicorn. That's an interesting mechanic. You can pretty much, as long as you can justify, you can re-roll anytime. That's not very common. Usually there's some sort of currency or resource management or other
Yeah.
requirements for a reroll.
It's dangerous as a replicant though, because everything is
It's stress.
is stressed. Yeah. So like a replicant, and because your resolve is much lower than a human being's,
Right.
you put yourself at risk of just like completely breaking down.
But when we compare it to Alien, which has a
Right.
very similar rule set, just the act of pushing
Right.
gave stress. Here, it's like you can get like what happened to me. I rolled really poorly, but neither of them was a unicorn. Now
Right.
I'm aware that if you got a unicorn on the base dice, that counts as stress. So if one of your failure dice is a 1 and you push it, you automatically get the stress.
Right.
But I think it's interesting that you actually get that leeway, that you can
that's kind of interesting.
Like, unlike Alien, we're in a position of power. We're in a position of ignorance because we're detectives.
And
We're in a position of power, like, we're the law kind of thing, right?
Right.
Whereas in Alien, if you're in a position where you think, well, I better push this, then there has to be a reason, like you're in a gunfight or there's air escaping from the room, or so it's automatically stressful.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between being Hudson and being Deckard.
Mm-hmm.
Hudson's just freaking the hell out, and Deckard's, but you can see Deckard is like, starting to feel the strain of it. So he's drinking like crazy, and he's doing everything to relieve his stress. And in 2049, you haven't seen it, but like, I mean, the detective there is starting to come completely unglued, as he's being stressed out about things he's finding out, and so and arguably gets to the point where he might be completely shot. So.
Mm-hmm.
But it is one of those things. So like, you run the risk of becoming completely unglued, but it's going to take a while. It's like the investigation as a whole takes it out of you, and at a very inopportune moment, you might be incapable of action.
Right. Right. But I thought that was
Hanging from the top of the Bradbury.
And then finally, you only always depending on the kindness of strangers, like Blanche Dubois being picked up by Ray Daddy.
Yeah.
Always dependent on the kindness of strangers.
Nice.
They're nice.
Right.
Well,
that was fun.
Thanks for getting up early, guys, to make it
possible.
Yeah.
And the neat thing is, even though I'm not using the prepared adventure, there are nifty locations and characters I'm totally using.
Nice.
Yeah, that's So should you guys go to certain locations, you might bump into some people, which I have taken liberties to change. Stuff about it, but it's kind of neat to have that.
I didn't read the adventure, so
yeah, I did. It's like it's definitely a more scripted kind of ABC. It's the final confrontation, all stuff. It's made to be,
right.
It's like almost tournament type, play, if we would think about it that way, or convention play.
Right.
It's not a bad one.
Although they gave all the tools for character experience.
Right.
The philosophy espoused is definitely one of go here to discover this.
Right.
If they don't discover it, then push or reveal.
Right.
Because that's the danger of an investigation, right? You can get lost in the weeds. It's really easy to get turned around. And imagine I hadn't taken the notes, or we hadn't done the video, right? And you show up 4 months later and there's no video and no notes. It's like, there was a lady killed. We talked to some people.
Well, I imagine when these nice people wrote this game, they were thinking, of people that might get together every week to game, not some dysfunctional. Well, it's not adults with lives that we're going to actually.
That's probably
in
true.
different parts of the world that have to coordinate when they're going to take a dump. Never mind when they're going to play a game.
Right.
It's funny because right now I'm in the same position with the friends in an old band. We're going to put together something for one of their mothers that had a stroke, who was very supportive of us. And so it was getting our schedules together to actually coincide, like what day can we play? And then Brad asked, so when are we going to rehearse? And we're all like, oh my God. And this guy's got his kids' sporting events, and so it's like, yeah. Geez. So that's the way it is. I think that answers your question.
Still, as a reminder, people were joking that the most accurate thing about the new D&D movie is that the release date was moved twice.
Right. They had to reschedule the release date twice.
That's awesome. I think that answers your earlier question, though, Elias. That or Detective Bennett, is that you know, I think we are probably we're moving at a different pace in other live plays because this isn't set up to like do the reveal if you guys don't figure it out, because
Right.
there's a whole of you go here to discover this. It's more like, I mean, I've set it up in such a way that you, unless you're incredibly stupid, which you guys are, you'll be able to eventually figure out who done it.
Which you guys
Probably.
may
But
not
it's like,
be, is what you want to say.
Will you do it? Will you do it in time? And that's the more,
That's
you know,
right.
that's
Stop
the more
stereotyping us.
interesting thing.
We might be dumb as a bag of rocks.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate us, Ivan.
Exactly.
Don't
Listen,
gamers.
I know.
I
Why not?
resent that.
Well,
I take that as a challenge now.
Well, I think that's one of the things is like you don't want to like put a bunch of rails on it and make people like discover or funnel them to discovering the right thing. But you have to think about like plausibly there's a bunch of people, there's a bunch of leads, there's a bunch of logical people that might have done it. But you know,
Well, we
there should be
haven't
enough
asked the
evidence.
question yet, have we? Right? Who benefits from her death? We
Right.
haven't gone through the
Right.
motivations. That's
Right.
Well,
But I
That
think if you're thinking that way, I
Well-
imagine it'll be tough, not impossible,
Yeah.
to be
Well, and-
completely lost. You know.
in the real world, were it not for the theoretical footage of the snake pit that we're hoping to find, that's enough to convict Melbourne. He goes to
Right.
jail. Nobody
Right.
cares how he got in the apartment. You know, nobody
Mhm.
cares that there's no footage of that. He had the motivation. They had the argument
Right.
just before that, and he would go down in
and
real
nobody
life.
likes him.
Yeah, nobody likes him, right? So he goes down.
Yes, Miss
Uh,
Mancini, do you believe it's possible that they could have had a physical?
Yeah. You don't
altercation?
have to prove it's beyond a reasonable doubt. So, you know,
Yeah, he's a scumbag. Yeah, he might have done it. Yeah,
he would. I'm convinced for sure he would have been found guilty in the real world. But you know, that's the cool thing. So we eliminated him as a suspect
Right.
for sure. That's
That's
great.
one of the things too. Is like there's, as I was putting it together, there's so many people that could have done it. Like it's not boring. But there's people that are just, you know,
Well, that's
would have motivation or are seedy or are whatever. And so, you know,
well, that's the classic formula.
yeah.
Meet me in Af and Hawa when all shall be revealed. So, yeah. So that's the
Yeah. So
Anybody
somebody
want
else.
to Anybody want to put a bet on who done it? Like the maid did it, the dog did it,
well,
the racist detective did it.
you know, the classical Blade Runner solution should be the dad, because that's always the solution in Blade Runner. It's always the dad with the
It's always
corporate
the dad.
money, and you know, it's always we've seen that before. I like your intuition that it's Jared who did it. So we'll see.
how much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I remember
somehow it's always a big corporate thing that gets spoiled because you know there's a girl and she gets killed. That's you know that's classic. You know.
Yeah, I guess that's classic. Yeah. Always a girl. Always
Yeah.
a corporate head.
That's what it usually is. Then the trick is why. Well, it turns out she's his daughter. It turns out she's it's my daughter. It's my it's my sister.
I've
it's my daughter.
I
know,
haven't
so-
watched enough of those things. That's generally not my genre, so I don't know.
Oh,
You got
okay.
more-
So, but you
you got
know,
more. Yeah,
but
I'll have to write that down for my next one.
Definitely don't borrow from Chinatown.
No, don't.
No, please. Please. Hate that movie.
Is anybody having a difficulty picturing the Blade Runner world in their head?
No.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, like, I think a lot of that is just like you have to be familiar with Blade Runner and kind of fill it in. Because I mean, I'm not describing in any real great detail, but I'm kind of leaving it up to the fact that you guys already kind of know what Blade Runner looks like. So,
And it's
What's
pretty,
your background pictures?
yeah,
and it's pretty documented in the sense that Anthony says, I'm taking him to interrogation room 3. And if you've seen 2049, you sort of have an idea of the colors and the lighting on the thing, right? So it's It works.
And and even if you've just seen 2019, you still and you see it looks different, but it's an interrogation room. These
Still an
guys are
interrogation room.
wearing suspenders,
Yeah.
and it's darker. There's a lot more smoking going on.
There's an interesting choice to make, though, right? I mean, because like we would just be constantly talking to each other, like sending text messages or whatever, like, "Oh, he confessed," But I get the feeling like the interpersonal communication technology is far more restricted, like payphone level.
Mm.
Even in 2049, I think it's a design choice, like it's something specific to the culture. They've moved away from that instant connectivity,
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's very much like
like Corporea.
Like Corporea, or like even like the remake of Battlestar Galactica. There's something about a network that's dangerous, and we already see this in the real world.
Right.
And so if you want restricted access to information, or you want less chance of being hacked, or whatever, you fry that, like, I mean, the replicants at some point fried a lot of communications.
Constant connectivity is a downer for most adventure games. It just makes a lot of things too easy.
It doesn't
There's
even
too
work
many
in
challenges.
modern games. Yeah, it's
The
like
problem with modern games.
Yeah, but I do like that kind of like little flag beep coming in that like the guy's come in.
Yeah.
You get more of a message like that, but it seems like it makes sense for those things to be more restricted.
right. The other way to do it, I suppose, is to say, we're every chance we get, we send a text message or something, but the other guys are busy.
Right.
So maybe when we get on the spinner, or to go to the snake pit, right, from the early queue, that's when we look down and look, they got the Melbourne. We need to go check out the snake pit, right?
Plus, in this kind of setting, both the guys in the interrogation room and us in this low down dirty bar, you can't be stopping to text people or checking your phone, right?
Hold that thought.
Right. You're talking to people, you're keeping your eyes open, you don't know when these bouncers are gonna jump us, right? You don't know if you're gonna see somebody run off. So exactly.
And take a selfie.
Let's take a selfie, man. No.
Check this bouncer out, man. He looks mad. Check this dancer out, man. She gave me her number.
Right. Hey, you know, we take a selfie, heck of it.
Right.
But no, that's basically the thing. It doesn't make sense when you're in a situation where you're like trying to pick up clues for you to be. It's like it doesn't make sense for people to go on vacation and taking more pictures than enjoying what they're actually seeing, right? But in this case, for us, it's life or death, right? So
Right. That's a good point.
Well, you're trying to pick up clues. I thought you were trying to pick up the dancer.
no, those things happen to me accidentally, man. I don't know.
Every game, Jose gets the girl. Every game.
That's because he calls them ma'am.
Yeah. Every game.
Never miss, I notice. It's always ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I should have had a cowboy hat, but no cowboy hat.
Yeah, but I felt the Blade Runner the whole time, so I liked it.
Yes.
I felt like Harrison Ford should have been narrating in that uninterested voice in the background.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. The thing I worried about most was seedy but opulent bar. But then I'm thinking the Snake Pit. If you remember the original movie, it's like, yeah, it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
The Snake Pit. It's gonna be fun to visit it for old time's sake.
Yeah.
But we're going there to check up on the boyfriend story, right?
Right. We're gonna go get the footage, same deal, to see if we can,
Yeah.
because we're there anyway.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the same guy from 2019 is still running the place.
Right.
Yeah.
Much older, but I love the fact that the whole bunch of characters
I just
from the
Googled
original
that,
movie.
and they have the picture of the front of the bar and the guy with his pencil mustache.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think he's still alive, by the way. in 2037. I believe yeah, he is, because he was alive in 2049. As is, see who else? Who is alive? I always kept on telling you guys. Your old instructor Dale Combs is still alive. The guy that you had the first scene with.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to sneak in some point that he's an NPC and he's available as a resource. You know. All righty. Well, that's about it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, happy Father's Day, folks.
Thank you.
Get
Thank
some
you.
rest.
No NPC is unimportant. Just remember that.
That's true.
Just remember,
Same to you
friends.
guys. Yeah.
It's not like today's culture where they call people NPCs. I heard about that.
Right.
And I started laughing. I read about that. Like, what? The heck? You're an NPC from video game lingo. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, let me tell you something. I don't know about your day, but NPCs are freaking dangerous as hell and really
Yeah,
valid in my culture.
That's not how those work. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
calling something an NPC is like, yeah, they probably have a gun. That's an
Yeah,
NPC.
it's like now this is a TTRPG, and it's like, no,
Right.
man, this is an RPG. What you play is a computer
Right.
RPG or video game RPG. It's you need to get the prefix, not us.
What we can
Right.
call them, taking a page from Circle of Hands, is unnamed characters.
There.
I love that. Named characters and unnamed characters, both NPCs, but you're an unnamed character, man.
An unnamed character.
Yeah, there's a different. I love it because there's a different. You should read that. I say there's a different set of rules mechanically for named characters and unnamed characters, and literally at any moment you can elevate somebody into a named character just by asking their name,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden their stats change.
Until they assume their final form.
Yeah, exactly. I am now. All right, that's enough. I didn't sleep enough, clearly.
Yeah.
But I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Get some rest.
Bye.